Hello. This is Fake the Nation, where we talk about news, we talk about culture, and where we buckle up to take more self-driving cars because apparently the data says that we should. I'm your host, Negin Farsad, and fine, I'll look at the data on self-driving cars, even though the entire phenomenon gives me hives. I don't want to do it, but we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about how Indiana has randomly decided to assert its own state identity, and that identity is, shut up, Trump. Oh my God. We'll talk about RFK and how he continues to not be a fan of science, and Europe is panicking over its population decline, and what are they trying to do about it? And finally, boomers are passing down a bunch of their stuff to a generation of millennials who simply don't want it. Today's panel to get into all of this is so exciting. You heard them both on the show. They're both just excellent comedians. First up, we have comedian. He's a Wait, Don't Tell Me regular, so you've also heard him on NPR with me when we've had so much fun because he's so funny. He's also a fashion designer who has his own label. It's called BB Spoke, and my husband is going to be getting one of those jackets, but he doesn't know it yet, and this man is going to be making my husband more fashionable, and he's doing it all from the great city of Chicago. It is the excellent Brian Babylon. Hey, Brian.
Yo, Negin Farsad. You know what? I realized the first time we met was in Chicago when you came on my radio show.
That makes sense. Yeah. A lot of Chicago runs through my life in ways that I find delightful. I actually really like that city. Also joining us today, he also has an interesting connection to Chicago, for a momentary connection to Chicago, which he's going to tell us about. You've heard him on this show before. He is a comedy writer. He's a comedian. He has a podcast called Yo, Is This Racist, which is, we have a lot of crossover listeners. He is the wonderful Andrew T. Hey, Andrew.
Yo, what up? How's it going? I briefly anointed myself in Chicago-ness this weekend because I made... I'm looking now. It was a recipe that I found in the Chicago Reader from last year around this time. A guy named Billy Zurikat, I guess, posted on Instagram or TikTok or something. But basically, he made Malort cookies. So we won't belabor this for anyone not from Chicago. But Malort is Chicago's drink/threat, I would say.
That's a good way to put it. Like, I dare you to drink this.
It's like a liquor. It's a liquor.
It's a liquor that is best. It tastes a little bit like grapefruit peel and a little bit like garbage. I do like it, so I do. I'm not saying it's garbage in a bad way, but it does taste a little bit like garbage. And
it tastes like what you like, that water that collects at the bottom of a trash bag in the summertime.
Yeah,
it's a
hot.
Bunch of everything. It's
so
hot.
How did the cookies turn out?
The cookies turned out, it was for a party that the host was from Chicago, and the friend group sort of mostly met in like doing Chicago theater and stuff. So they were very Malort forward people. So I like, it was not going to be possible to get an accurate, like an honest assessment from them.
Right. They were too like Malort blinded to like be honest. So they said
they loved it, but I don't know, man. Those cookies were kind of insane. They're basically chocolate cookies with Malort and sugar on them, and they're fucking gross.
It's wild. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Chicago listener or a Chicago file who is a Malort drinker, please hit me up. This is the first I'm hearing about it, which I feel weird because I literally have spent so much time in Chicago. It doesn't make sense that I haven't heard about this disgusting drink before. But but here I'm now learning about it for the first time. Now, before we get into the show, it's the end of the year, so why not take a look at supporting the show you love on Patreon at patreon.com/Negin Farsad. For as little as $4 a month, you get extra bonus episodes of the show. There's tiers above that. There's a tier at $5, for example. And for as little as $1 a month, you get nothing but the wonderful knowledge that you support the show that you like. So you can consider that level. Anyways, thank you so much to everyone who does support the show at patreon.com/Negin Farsad. I'm so chuffed, as the British say. Let's get into it. I know, it's like a weird word. I don't know why it came out of my mouth, but that's what happened. Let's get into it with topic number 1. There's data on self-driving cars, and we're going to dive into it. But before we do, have either of you taken a self-driving car like a Waymo, or do you use the self-driving feature on your car?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, to which part? Yeah.
I've taken Waymo multiple times because I'm in the Bay a lot, in San Francisco a lot. So it's very Waymo friendly in the Bay.
Yeah.
So you'll hear stories about how if a whole bunch of Waymos get together, they might start beefing, like like on interchanges, corners. There
Mm-hmm.
was this parking lot where they park that's on the roof of this one building, and they had like a meltdown. It was a Waymo meltdown, and it was like it kept everyone up. So it's an interesting thing. I prefer them because they can be cheaper than Ubers,
Hmm.
but they don't go on the highway, so you can really only go in the city.
Okay. So you
Oh.
felt comfortable? I mean, do you
In the
like,
city,
are you,
sure. In the city, sure, but I'm not driving on any canyons or on the expressway for Waymo. And then when you're messed up, when you're fucked up at night after shows, you can turn your music up loud. It connects to your Spotify. It's great for making out. Waymo has its perks. Waymo has its perks.
Andrew, have you made out in a Waymo?
I have not taken a Waymo. I was mad when I learned that you couldn't sit behind the driver's seat and do like a Maggie Simpson, just like fake turn the steering wheel back and forth. I just want to like pretend like I'm playing car driver. I don't know. I just have a feeling that if knowing public spaces, I guess, because essentially they would be essentially a public space. It's just hard for me to imagine not it mostly being farts and just a little bit of piss in the back of a Waymo. But
Oh, yeah.
that's a me
They're very
problem.
clean. They're
I know
very
that's a me
clean.
problem. I
But
will
there's
also
a
say,
no. Go ahead.
oh, I have such a distrust of Silicon Valley in general that I'm just like, for instance, like the fact that they're cheaper, I'm like, they're cheaper for now, but so was Uber for a while. So, like,
Oh, I definitely feel like the price is supported by speculative
yeah.
investment price right now.
But also, you have to realize the price is also lower at places where there's a whole bunch of them. It's still supply and demand
Yeah.
dynamics.
All right.
But I think they're cheaper because you don't have a person. That cost is, and it's electric. There's a whole bunch of things in it. And then they have this new thing. I don't know. It's called XOXO, whatever. So it's like a jitney cab. So
Mhm.
it's like a box and like four
Yeah,
people can
I've
get
seen
in,
those.
and you do a share ride, sort of like a personal trolley.
I know. I just feel like Silicon Valley's gonna like over 10 years reinvent the fucking subway. It seems like or the L. I'm just
Right,
like,
right, right. Well, I mean, okay. So is it's funny because I guess I've heard from neither of you like fear or whatever like being an
oh,
issue.
sure.
Is fear an issue, Andrew?
Well, fear's not an issue about getting in one in that I would bet fucking money that somewhere in the Waymo code, whenever they come to their version of the trolley problem, do I kill a pedestrian? Do I kill my passenger? It's kill a pedestrian all the way. Like being inside one of those is the safest place to be because I'm sure it's just like I'm gonna kill anyone else on the street before I kill my passenger.
But in San Francisco, there's a new growing rage because they're
Mhm.
always mad about something in the Bay about how many dogs Waymo has run over.
Oh, really?
That's a problem. They
Oh
will.
my
They don't run over people,
God.
but they'll kill a dog.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm
that's one
saying.
thing white people do not play is dogs.
No.
That's the
Um,
downfall of technology is going to be
Yeah,
just a couple of murdered dogs.
couple murder
Okay,
dogs.
well, the reason we're talking about it today is because Waymo released a bunch of data, the most comprehensive data set to date, and the neurosurgeon Jonathan Slott can analyze the data for the Times. And this surgeon sees a lot of trauma patients in the ER, and what he found was, and I'm just going to quote from his piece, when compared with human drivers on the same roads, Waymo self-driving cars were involved in 91% fewer serious injury or worse crashes, and 80% fewer crashes causing any injury. It showed a 96% lower rate of injury causing crashes at intersections, which are some of the deadliest that Slotkin encounters in the trauma bay. So I guess
I
this,
think I know why.
talk to me.
Because first, they don't go on the expressway. Number one. It's number two, they drive in the city. And number three, if you watch how a Waymo drives, because I've been in the back watching it, it drives as if you drove when you first got your license. Like 10 and 2, it follows every rule. It's like it's the best. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. It follows all the rules to a T. So it's less. It's no road rage. It's no impulses. It's no human. You're gonna cut me off. There's no cutting off and stuff like that.
This is, I will say, this is my most anti-technology. I'm going to pay for this when the robots take over behavior, but I will cut off a Waymo in traffic just out of principle. I just do it.
You can cut off a Waymo, and they'll let you. They will let you.
Right. And so then if everybody's cutting, I mean, like, I imagine in some cases multiple cars in a row are cutting off a Waymo because they know that Waymos are kind of going to let it happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's going to be that one Waymo that once you know what love is, it's going to start cutting people off. You know, it's that one rogue Waymo that thinks it's more than just a car. That's going to start cutting people off.
What was the name of that HBO show when the
Westworld.
That's like the Westworld sequel is when the Waymos start.
And someone will try to fuck a Waymo too, and that's when it's really going to go bad.
I'm sure someone's already tried to fuck a Waymo in some way.
Sure.
No, but I mean the idea that these numbers, by the way, 83% fewer crashes with cyclists or motorcyclists. So these numbers are that's
high.
Fewer, 83% fewer crashes.
The one thing I will say is, and this is, you're like, I think at this point I'm so conditioned to believe that Silicon Valley is lying that while this is all nice if it's true, I guess I just now have a completely instinctual, I mean, and this op-ed even does mention that, like, Tesla's also releasing numbers, but, like, they're not very complete, and it's like, you know, basically, my now assumption is that Silicon Valley companies are run by liars unless they've proven otherwise. So that is my tiny caveat to this, is like Waymo has not yet proven otherwise to me as far as lying.
Well, I will say this is like the most comprehensive data that's block by block, like speed levels at the event, whatever. Like, so it's kind of like the most they've ever gotten. It sounds like, Tesla's not giving the same.
Yes.
You know, they're not doing the same.
I would just say, like, if true, this makes sense, but also, like, self-driving buses, like automated, like, you know, subway cars, like, is still better, and it does seem like we're gonna, like, head to this point anyway. I don't know. I hate.
Well, and I mean, it's one of the things that I wish was more like the headline is that, like, this should replace sort of like that solo driver in terms of fatalities, which is this guy's main point. Yeah. In terms of fatalities, and again, I have a problem with this because I'm kind of scared of getting in one. Okay, that's my deal. My deal.
Nikki, what's your fear? Yeah. Tell me your fear.
Well, I think and I was trying to think of myself as like, what would have happened before? Where would I have been when commercial flight started? So whenever it was that American Airlines or whatever was like, we're now offering a flight, I would have been like, fuck, I'm gonna get on a plane and then it's gonna take me in the air, get out of here. Like I would have been the first person to like not take that flight, right? And now,
you mean when commercial flights first started, that first,
like that 19 whatever,
or Kitty Hawk 3,
what?
Kitty Hawk 3 is fine.
It's just like the third plane.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would have needed a bunch of people to do it first, and I feel like it's getting there with Waymo because so many of my friends by now on the West Coast have like done the Waymo, and it's becoming way less of a big deal. I worry. I just feel like I need to know about like the mapping practices of these cars. Like, I'm not convinced that a Tesla vehicle would have mapped the streets of San Francisco as thoroughly as Waymo
and the thing
has.
is, Waymo, I've been in the Bay now. I mean, I don't live there permanently, but I'm there once a month at least, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been like for the last almost 5 or 6 years. And I've been seeing Waymos do homework for almost 6 years, before they were driving people around. Right. You would just see people driving Waymos doing that groundwork. So I think that got people like in their mind, like, okay, these guys are you're doing something. So
I think the danger is what's going to happen is this good PR is going to like allow reasonable gentleman Elon Musk should just flip on self-driving on every Tesla, and those fucking things are definitely not ready because nothing.
I think the bigger headline of this piece, which was sort of like buried, below the fold of this piece, was the most safest is still mass transit.
Yes.
Right? So mass transit is still what we should be doing. Right. Even with crazy people on the bus, that's what we should all be doing. But maybe if there's a world where some of the kind of car and maybe delivery truck stuff is more automated and safer, everything would move faster and more efficiently, which would make mass transit be even faster and even more efficient. Sure. Anyways, I don't know. I think that's kind of what I got from this piece.
And lastly, Negin, I will say this. I just found out, I have two friends who drive Teslas. You have to pay for the self-driving part in your Tesla. It just doesn't come with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a subscription. It's like your Spotify subscription and your self-driving subscription and all those other little bells and whistles. You have to pay for that. So that's why I don't trust Elon. Because I don't think you'd update in the patch. It's a lot of things. I don't
never trust Elon.
Too, it's like the Teslas don't have Waymos look dorky because they have a billion sensors that are they look like a propeller beanie basically.
It's like sensors on the top, sensors on the side, sensors on the bottom. A Tesla is just a car and those little webcams. Yeah. I don't trust that.
Yeah. It doesn't. Right. It looks. All right, folks, what are you doing? Are you trusting the Waymos? Are you trusting the Teslas? Are you trusting any of it? Are you like me getting on maybe the 20th commercial flight as opposed to the first one? Yeah. Hit me up and let me know. Let's take a quick break and then we'll be back with politics. And we are back and we're ready for politics. I didn't want to talk about this actually initially, but now I just feel like we have to. There's been a couple of murders and obviously a horrible mass murder. And I wanted to just get your brief thoughts on what happened in Australia. There was a mass murder at a Hanukkah celebration on Bondi Beach. And they've just actually, as we walk into the our remote studio, they have, confirmed that there were ties to ISIS from the shooters. So I guess my question, obviously there's nothing much to say about whether or not this is devastating. It is devastating. So that's just kind of that goes without saying. I wonder, though, on the issue of gun control, 30 years ago, Australia had a really horrible mass murder. It led to a lot of changes in their gun policy, and this mass murder slipped in. Is there something that you started thinking about on the gun control front with respect to this mass murder?
I think, first of all, you can't put the Australia situation in a gun control situation because they don't have guns like that. So this was I'm going to do this. Versus here in America, you can just have some weirdo and, there's 4 guns over there. Yeah. Where it's more easy to do. My whole, not side eye, and I don't know, I gotta be careful how I say this. It's anytime I start at this point in 2025, when I hear ISIS was involved, myself and others have what does that even really mean? It's what does that even really mean? ISIS involved. That's sort of like saying this was, what was that in the Avengers? That other, or Cobra. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is Hydra, or it's not really a thing. And I think people are getting more savvy on believing what the fuck is an ISIS when the media starts saying that. I think these guys are bad guys, but trying to put it to a group now,
or they had beliefs they can even believe it's anyone can be called ISIS involvement if
that's what I'm saying.
Googled four specific things or whatever the fuck. So I think that's the type
of
and
to be fair, there just isn't enough information out right now, or still too close to the event.
And that's my thing too.
Yeah. The media, I feel loves to jump on stuff that is see these scary brown people are coming after us.
And I think in 2025 people have seen that playbook And they're like, nah, man, you gotta have to do a little bit better than that. Or they
Yeah,
want you to go train in the Philippines. I didn't even know the Philippines was training ISIS like that. Is that the new
Well,
training
also, I
spot?
think the other weird thing that's happening, I think, with our like kind of questioning over the ISIS involvement is that ISIS just hasn't been in the news as much,
sure.
and
Yeah, yeah.
ISIS was in the news like truly every day for Obama's second term or whatever, and
Yeah.
I feel like it was just like a regular part of American life to like talk about ISIS or something, at that time, and now it's like, and now it's different, and it's like suddenly, and again, because I don't know,
Yeah.
geopolitics has just been so kind of
Yeah.
confusing and all over the place. I didn't even quite know that ISIS was still
Yes.
active. So I feel like what's going to happen is a lot of information is going to come out that might make this headline make more sense in the coming
Right.
days. So we'll keep our eyes on that. It's really devastating, but I want to move
Oh,
really
sorry.
quickly. Yeah.
Can I say a quick thing about
Sure.
the gun control thing is that like people who are against controlling guns are going to use this as like, see, if someone on that beach had a gun, they could have prevented this. And once again, talking about data, that is not true. Like, there's good guy with a
No.
gun, quote unquote. Like, like no Rambos or whoever the hell, like John Wicks, like actually exist for a reason, because it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna, start like looking again at their gun control laws, but I have to say that like they haven't had an episode of mass murder in something like
Yeah,
30 years.
more
So
guns is not going to do this.
their track record on their gun control laws reducing that episode of mass murder is pretty good, and homicide in general. Their rate of homicide. Their rate of homicide is much lower. Is there some noise in the background, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, here we go. The other thing I wanted to talk about, just because it like has just really unfortunately bled over into the political realm, is the murder of Rob Reiner. And the only reason I bring this up, I mean, it looks like Rob Reiner and his wife, as we're taping this episode, it came out that like they've arrested his son. So it looks like the murder may have been done by like a stabbing by their own son, who's dealt with drugs and stuff over the years. And so again, we don't know the details or whatever, but one of the reasons I bring it up is because Trump
Yeah.
tweeted about it, saying that basically one of the reasons he's dead is because he suffered from Trump derangement syndrome, and this is the result of it or something. And it was like
Yeah.
one of the most insane things. I think even for him, it felt particularly insane. And I don't know, Andrew, what did you think when you heard about that reaction to a tragedy that, I mean,
Yeah.
has nothing to fucking do with that guy?
Yeah. I mean, I am a little like not numb to Trump exactly, but a little like I like jumping on the how look get a load of this fucking horrible thing that Trump did is I guess hitting rapidly diminishing returns for me, if not already off the face of the map.
Right.
So I'm just like, I don't know. This seems like exactly the kind of shit he would do, I guess, at this point. So I am no longer at all surprised personally, I guess. Like,
No, he bonkers. He's going to do something worse than this next week.
yeah.
That's what you have. That's what you have to understand. He's gonna. He's always at a level of hold my beer energy
Yeah.
to the trash.
This is
can.
also kind of like house money for him, because like no one who doesn't support him is surprised by this or changed by this. Like, yeah, people are like, yeah, what a fucking horrible, repellent human being on many levels, and anyone who's still sticking with him now doesn't care. Like, no one's like, you know what, this is the one that was too far. Like, so I don't know.
No, it's Jim Jones energy now for people
Yeah.
who support Trump. But I will say that for this one, you will go on different little, you're not supposed to, but you go on different little posts where people are saying, look what this guy did, for things that are sort of middle of the road. And usually the pro-Trump bots will flood in like, oh man, this guy, this and that. Even the Trump bots didn't hop on his side on this one. And I feel on my mama, as they say in the hood, after next year, after this midterm election is over, you'll see finally people like, oh, I have a spine against Trump, and that's when the
Yeah.
Republican people will. It's just
Well,
wait it out.
speaking of having a spine, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Indiana, the GOP-controlled state Senate of Indiana voted down a bill designed to eliminate Indiana's 2 Democratic-held seats in the House. They're just, they're not playing this mid-decade gerrymandering game the way Texas is. So I guess my question to you, Brian, is like, is this another moment where we're seeing, GOP people being like, actually, no.
No, and also I will say because it's Indiana, and Indiana is the neighbor to Illinois and the Midwest. So I know how Indiana people think. They hunkies, they white people too, but they have this thing. I went old school on the old school slur that didn't stick. So they white, but they have this sort of like, you can't push me around, sort of this last little moral ounce that you need to be a real person, because they don't want to use that to say, oh, I'm not racist, I'm just a regular person trying to play by the rules. That's how they kind of operate. So I can see how they wouldn't play that game versus a Texas, which is like Jerkville.
Yeah. I'm shocked, honestly. I was just like, I don't know what it is about. I mean, I'm from Michigan, but I was just like, I guess I kind of have a sense of these white people as well. Sort
Yeah,
of.
you know how, yeah, it's a certain type.
But it's still surprising because I'm like, this is the kind of shit that I would have thought they would just want to do anyway. Like, why not gerrymander the fuck out of it? Now that there's some social like ability to get away with it, why not just do this? So,
but I think the moral code of what's right and what's wrong, because Texas people know what's wrong.
Yes.
California is being reactive to Texas. I think the people in the Midwest still have that sort of Mennonite Amish, that's sort of like,
this just isn't right.
Yeah, it's a different type of Bible thumping in the Midwest than it is in the Southern, church belt. It's a different type of Christian person.
And I have to say that they did this despite a lot of really difficult stakes for them. There were pipe bomb threats, unsolicited pizza deliveries to personal addresses, swattings. There was just a lot to be scared of, and these lawmakers stood their ground. And by the way, they're still very, very conservative.
Yeah,
but
very.
I think it's like you're saying, it's like that little twinge of like ethical kind of Mennonite behavior that's prohibiting them from really getting on board.
Get in my extreme left-wing dig early, but it's a little sad that the Republicans in Indiana are showing more spine than Senate Democrat leadership.
Yeah, well, that's facts.
But I think
once you get to that level, once you get to that Washington level, you become another level of dirtbag.
Yeah, I guess it's a real bummer
on both sides.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to another level of dirtbag. RFK's handpicked vaccine committee voted to get rid of a universal recommendation that all babies get a Hep B shot at birth. The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices now recommends that parents use individual decision-making in consultation with a healthcare provider on whether or not to give a baby the shot when their birth mother has tested negative for Hep B. I don't know. It's changing the face of the schedule. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm not versed enough in shots. I just, I'm still ignorant to say, hey, just load me up.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, load it up, baby. I don't know.
Well, I think what you're expressing is the thing that everybody wants, which is, can we just have a really competent scientific community that makes the recommendation so that we don't need to actually research anything and I can't, because I don't want to know enough. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing, right? You're like, you want experts to be in their expert lane.
I'm a comedian and a fashion designer. Let me do that.
Yeah, you do the comedianing and the fashion designing, right? It's exactly, I think that's what people want. And when we feel like the experts are not allowed to be experts, or when there's some sort of infiltration into the expertdom, we start to feel like really just frustrated and I'm just exhausted by that feeling. Andrew, what were you going to say?
I mean, the problem is that it's the like kind of like do your own research idea of like fucking vaccines is like, oh, really? We're gonna run a double blind trial over 25 years?
Like, you're not even
personally?
wearing a lab coat, man.
Yeah.
How are you going to do anything? Put on a lab
I'm
coat
just like,
before you
get the
talk to
fuck
me.
out of here. But the other problem is the like downsides of all this RFK shit is like it's gonna show up in data in like 15 years. Like it's gonna be like, yo, 15% more babies died of Hep B, which
Yeah.
like you're not gonna be able to like see it right away. Whereas like, oh god, it's
Well, see, the
really,
problem is
really
people
fucked up.
have something they have found on YouTube in their hand in the moment, and they
Yeah,
think, "Oh, this is how it is. This
yeah.
blog I wrote or
Or
read,
like
this
Or
is
like
it."
your baby didn't get Hep B one time. Doesn't mean that it's not possible for babies to get hepatitis B.
But
Like,
the people who say that their babies usually have alcohol fetal syndrome eyes, and you're like, your
well,
baby has other issues.
that's the master race at work. You know, this is just every time. This my separate thing is every time one of these white supremacists come out, I'm like, you look in the mirror every day and you think white people are superior. Get the fuck out of here.
But
Like,
I think what you're saying again is people don't want to be put that on them. Is this administration has let the most mediocre, mid, know nothing motherfuckers
yeah,
be at the helm of stuff that they shouldn't be, and it's sort of the feeling in America where mediocre people used to be able to win in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. You could be a high school graduate and send your kids to University of Michigan. You could be a fucking loser and still win. And the rubbers hit the road where that's not happening. And Trump type people still give that illusion that that can
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So I think I just summed up America's problems right there on
We're,
Fake the Nation podcast.
The Republican ethos has basically become affirmative action for the dumbest motherfuckers you've ever
That's
met.
what it is. Yeah.
It's just,
Right,
Fake the nation, baby.
the cacistocracy, if you will.
yeah.
The term of art for that, for the exact phenomenon we're living under. Okay, well, I mean, folks, obviously, just to be clear, but before we move on to the next issue, that particular vaccine has been credited with driving down infections in children by 99% when it was first
How many
introduced.
percent?
99%. It's that effective.
It works.
It just works. So it's like a really big public health success story, it's very upsetting. And again, it's just like there's some things we want. And one of those things we want is to know. And this is when we start leaning on, I think I would probably lean more on the New York State Department of Health. I'll start wondering
Sure.
what are they saying, because they're not infiltrated, by dum-dums.
Or like European Health Agency. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like,
Well,
if
and
the CDC says something
yeah.
or NHS says something, like, it's the same as to me if like Tesla says something. Like, you have to check against people who are not directly incentivized to lie to you.
Yeah. I mean, and what's really sad is we still, despite everything, really do have the best medical, I'm not saying insurance, but the best medical advancement technology. Like here
science.
in the United States, we
yeah.
have the most of all of that.
For now.
And so the idea that we're like abdicating it to idiocy is so fucking crazy. Anyways, okay, let's move on quickly.
We'll all be in China in 10 years, everyone. Just learn your fucking Chinese now while you can.
Speaking of which, this is not a learn your Chinese, but learn your European languages or not, because the European Union population is expected to hit its peak, like I guess this year, and then it's expected to rapidly decline at a rate not seen since the plague of the 14th century. Fertility rates in France took a nosedive of 18% over the last decade. Scandinavian countries, which have really good social safety net, can't get their people to have kids. Italy gives bonuses to working mothers, and Poland sends their parents $220 per child per month. Hungary has doled out so many benefits, but the interesting thing is a lot of these policies haven't worked, or at best they've just slowed the decline. So my question is, in the European countries where the population decline is so large, why haven't these policies that we in the United States sort of dream about, why haven't these policies actually helped in increasing the baby having? Yes, Andrew.
If I may, I would say they have helped, is the thing. They have not created a net increase, and I would argue that's because the numbers are just like it's all economic. Every time people are like, "Oh, I don't want to have a baby," it's because of economic stuff. And yes, the social safety net is better, but it is not enough. Like, and I think that's the thing. It's like the number is higher because of these social safety nets.
Right. Well, that's what they're saying, that it's slowed the decline.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But it hasn't, like, they want there to be two parents, two children, and that's not what's happening.
So but I'm just like, it's right in there what you're saying. The number has slowed it, so guess what? A bigger number could increase it. Give people more money.
Brian, what do you think? You have a kid.
No, I have a kid, and also, it's going on my 5th year now. I live in Europe 4 months out of the year throughout the EU, right? And I think that from my friends, just people you just, as a comedian, you just sit out and people watch. You just kind of get the vibe of this comic vibe. And I think most people are going to have 1.5 kids just because that's how much life can sustain. Like, financially, stress-wise. It's not like the old days. We didn't have internet. You had nothing to do, so you can just have more kids. It was, what I'm saying, it was no internet. It was nothing.
You're saying your third kid is TikTok. Your third kid
is TikTok. Your third kid is like stuff that you have to do, and plus the way they live there, it can't sustain a large old timey family like that. They want to have those sort of like 1940, 1950 numbers.
Yeah.
When their life can't sustain. We have a friend on Wait, Mike Danforth.
Mm-hmm.
He has the old-timey amount of kids. Like 4. That's old-timey amount of children. That's a Little House on the Prairie amount of kids. Because 2 of them might have died from dysentery, but you still got 6 more. Ain't nobody having old-timey amounts of kids no more.
By the way, I found out that my dad had a sister, but that died when she was a baby. And it's funny because I didn't know about this until like a year ago or something. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, I have a dead sister." You know what I mean? And it was because death was so much more common.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially in Iran, which consider like a baby boomer in Iran is like the equivalent of like, silent generation or whatever here.
Like how many aunts and uncles did you have?
Well, on that side, I still nevertheless had 4 aunts and an uncle. So he still had 5 siblings. This is just the sixth one. And they talk about it so cavalierly. It's like interesting. So
me too. I had five, 6 aunts and uncles.
Right.
Now everyone's having 1 kid.
Yeah.
I'm almost the same boat too. Yeah. Like really casually, they're like, "Oh yeah, well of course there was like the brother that died when we were 2." And we're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. How did this never come up? So it's interesting because, in Hungary they offer grandparental leave. They furnish like couples with reduced mortgage rates. It provides parents with a $30,000 loan, which doesn't need to be repaid if they have 3 or more children. Women, on October 1st, actually, women with 3 children and above have gained lifetime personal income tax exemption.
Damn.
So they've done so much in Hungary, and they still haven't really been able, and it worked for a little while, but then it actually started going back down. And one of the things that they, a few people that they interviewed in a piece we read were saying that, they do a lot to get you to have the baby.
Yes.
But they don't do, and this was interesting because I was just like, Hungary's a weird case, but Europe in general, we really think of Scandinavia as the gold standard in social safety net. But it's still, they don't do enough apparently to sustain you with the kid. And I was thinking about what would I need to have had, to still
kid.
Have another kid, right?
Yeah.
Because I have 1, and just the 1 is just taps me out financially, right? I'm just no, I got this 1,
Yeah.
And I was thinking okay, and I was thinking about Poland gives $220 a month. That feels low, honestly. I think if you really want people to have a kid, it needs to be more money just per month.
The numbers don't add up. Like this, like 30,000, right? It's like $30,000 sounds like a lot until you think about the cost of a kid,
right?
Which it is not much against.
Right. I mean, we talked a little bit about those new Trump accounts in last couple weeks. And the new Trump accounts, they just put in it's like starts with $250 or something. And then by the time you're 18, if you don't add to it, it only adds up to $5,000.
I could spend that at Dave and Buster's. That's Dave and Buster's money.
It's just not enough money, right?
Yeah.
Like in all of these, and then the other thing they talked about in the interviews about the hungry couples, they were just like, we also just want to know that the schools are fucking great. We also want to, what I mean? Like, we don't want to think about school having to resort to private school because some public school isn't great. Every school just needs to be fucking great. So it kind of goes back to the thing we were talking about with, the vaccine panel. We just want to know that the experts are fucking great. So we don't need to think about it. And I think that's what every parent wants is like...
Yeah, not the wrestlers, the guy who ran wrestling's white.
Yeah. White.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's... Yeah. They're just like they have destroyed society, and then they're like, why don't you want to bring children into this?
But can I say one more thing?
Right.
Can I say one more thing? And it goes, again, you're a mom, and I know people with kids. We have one kid. It goes back to what I said. It's a different time. Like back then, people had more mental bandwidth to do other family things because there wasn't all these extra things you had to do with. You can just there was TV. The TV went off at a certain time. The things were slower where you can focus on 3 kids, 4 kids. You throw another kid into the mix. You throw a half of a kid part-time in somebody's mix. They're done.
Yeah.
You would be drained. You wouldn't be as funny as you were. You wouldn't have as much energy. You would be like, give me an IV if you had one more kid. It's just too much.
It's too much.
An hour and a half with my nephew, I'm fucking toast.
Yeah. No, it's and it's interesting, and I do wonder if here's the other thing is like just discursively, I wonder if someone like me is doing a disservice to the 20 and 30 somethings that are thinking about having a baby because I feel like I complain too much. And I feel like I focus on how much work it is as opposed to like the joy that it is because the negativity is gets more clicks or it's like because the negativity is just like funnier or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's interesting because I make up an effort of like complaining and then saying to whoever's listening, but I also think everyone should fucking have a kid. Like definitely have a kid. It's great. It's honestly awesome. What are you? You're fucking nothing. You are your legacy. Have a kid. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I complain. I'm so tired, and like I complain all the time. So I'm like, there's something too culturally where we're just not. It's like the same as we are not as good to our elders as we once were. We used to respect our elders. We used to really cherish and be around them, and now we sort of like figure out ways to like not have the elders fucking. In our face.
Also, like, it would be less hard for you or maybe not you specifically, but for moms in general, if there was more of a social safety net. If maternity.
But they didn't have a safety net back then.
No, but bitches weren't working. Bitches weren't working.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Society was better. Yeah, society was better.
Society was not better. Inequality was more. Women didn't work. And so the expectation of like what was happening at the home, like women just took care of children. And so that's
also valid.
What felt like that was different. And I mean, I think some vibes were maybe better, but like it was decidedly worse for women, even though I think it was like maybe.
But do you
when I said it was better, I was meaning like how people, that old timey mentality of how people took care of elders,
the village,
took care of kids, the village aspect was better. Now we
that's
don't
true.
have that.
I agree. I agree. We lived more communally. Yep. Yes, absolutely. That's definitely true.
The vibe is preventing anyone from having a kid who wants to have a kid? Really?
Yeah. I talk to young people all the time, and like I'm in green rooms and stuff like that, and I'm just with 20 somethings, and then and something like that'll come up, and they'll just be like, I don't really want kids, and I'm like, this I don't really want kids rhetoric is so much more pervasive than it was when I was a 20 something in a green room.
Negin, just to be CNN about this,
please.
I think it's because people in big cities have different mindset, but if you went to Columbia, Missouri, that mindset isn't as prevalent.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're in the
I'm also in a field where that mindset is more prevalent.
Like some random girl in Columbia, Missouri, person in Columbia, Missouri, like even the guys are thinking more, I'm gonna get a family. They have
that's
that
true.
sort of energy.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's also like people are not like as much as like I think the kids are stupid, but I know they're not actually stupid. So like, I know that as much as it might be like, oh, I just want to be free. Like on some level, it's also like, because I know that I cannot guarantee a child I almost certainly cannot guarantee the child a better life than I have, which is what the proposition our parents were able to have. And I think it's like reasonable, even, as much as I think Gen Z is annoying, I'm like, they're not idiots. They know that it's going to be fucking tough for their kids if they have them. And like, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if like Miami and Los Angeles are going to be like flooded off the map. Like,
right.
So like, I think it's kind of reasonable for them to be like, I don't know if the threshold for resource, like wealth, essentially, that you need to have to guarantee that your kid will have a good life is higher than it ever has been. Yeah. And so I think it's just reasonable. It's like rational for them to be like, actually, I don't know if I want kids.
We're like running out of time for our third topic, which is okay because I do have to ask you guys this. So like by the way, a Finnish researcher was quoted as saying, quote, I increasingly think what is happening, the childless population sees parenting as a worse sacrifice than it actually is. And that's like what I was driving at is what this Finnish is, that like the rhetoric about the sacrifice is sort of overblown, which is kind of like the rage baity way that we all live, where we make things that are like kind of difficult into like big fat mountains of complaint or whatever, right? And so I do think there's something to that, and this one Finnish researcher kind of agrees with me. But the question I wanted to ask you guys is, what if this isn't even like such a huge problem, and because there is this population decline. We used to be worried about a population explosion being the reason that we were all going to die. Now, here's what they did the research on when humankind would reach a critically endangered threshold if fertility rates hold as projected. Mm-hmm. And the answer for that, so when will humankind reach the point of like no return? If it goes at this rate, continues to go at this rate, and the year is 3484. So,
that's not bad.
When I read that, I was like,
delicious style. It's 3,000 and late before it's a fucking problem. Get the fuck out of here.
So I'm a little bit like, should like future us 200 years down the line be just having this like, this segment of Fake the Nation?
It's like a Waymo being fucked in the future is like, you know what, we should have had human kids.
Yeah. I should have had a Vespa. Yeah.
Well, folks, okay, that is the end of the episode. I want to thank you both for listening. And listeners, hit us up. Are you fucking in a Waymo? How does that relate to your feelings about population decline? So many questions you can reach out with us. The big question on all of our minds is, how do the people of Fake the Nation follow you? Brian Babylon, where do they follow you?
You can just follow me on Instagram, and you can check out my fashion brand, BB Spoke, at bbspoke.shop, and you can check out the Bill Curtis blazer, which is
that the one that I want for my husband?
Yeah. It's a Bill Curtis blazer.
Truly check that out and let me know what you think of that blazer, because I think it's just so cool.
And you can get the trimming and multiple, the trimming is all
the
custom.
Colors. So oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like, guys, look at this blazer.
This is great.
It's so fucking great. Andrew, honestly, I think you would love it. Andrew, where do they find you?
I don't know. I'm at Andrew T. Last name is Ti. Just everywhere. I'm trying to use social media less. I do have on Yo Is This Racist? We on our premium site suboptimalpods.com. We are doing a new show where Tawny and Newsom and I watch Star Trek episodes. It's called Starter
That's
Trek.
so fun.
We're having a lot of fun. It's a premium show. About to record an episode after this, so
I would
I'm
love to
bringing
check that out. I can go
energy.
hard on that.
By the
Yeah,
way,
into
that's
Star
exactly
Trek.
the kind of thing that I love to do during the holidays. Is like a thing like that that's like basically doesn't matter about the
Yes.
world. It's not like
Oh my God.
the content
Galactic-
does not matter,
galactic
but like it's so
insanity.
fun.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, and folks, you know where to find me and all the things that I do. You can also support the show at patreon.com/Negin Farsad. You can email us at faiththenationpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about on the show in the year 2026. I'm all ears. And otherwise, we'll be back in your earballs next week.